What about aftercare after a play party?
Whatever. Aftercare. Oh my God.
This is Read My Hot Girl from ReadAboutSex.com.
Can't we just go to a play party and have fun, Kathy Vartuli from theintimacydojo.com? Oh my God. What is this all about aftercare? Why do we even need it?
Because a lot of people have a lot of emotions come up afterwards.
Oh, then you shouldn't have gone to the play party in the first place. Jeez, so much work. All this processing.
To me, going to a play party is a lot like climbing the Himalayas.
But at least a mountain has a top.
A lot of people find after the event is over, or even a couple days afterwards, there's emotions and feelings come up. Because you've probably stretched yourself, you've faced some emotions you haven't felt before.
You saw your partner play with somebody for the first time, or maybe you went to a play party alone. Mm-hmm. So you've got aftercare needs happening, and you don't have a partner that you went with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are some things you recommend for aftercare?
Well, okay, so there's a couple of different kinds of aftercare. There's, in the kink scene, mm-hmm. in the kink world,
post-scene.
There's post-scene aftercare. So after I have spanked you, mm-hmm. or tied you up, and now you're untied, or whatever the things are, what do you need to come back down to earth, mm-hmm. right? And then there's also, in the kink world, one of the mistakes is that the people who are doing the topping, the people who are doing the domination, or the people tying the ropes, there's this mistake that they don't need aftercare as well, which sometimes everybody involved needs aftercare, and sometimes people just don't need aftercare. Everybody's different.
And it can be different time to time.
So if you have friends or people in your life that are introverts who go to like a concert or something like that, or to a cocktail party or something, and then like they're just burnt out and maxed out after, like what they need after they've maxed themselves out, that's a kind of aftercare. Mm-hmm. But if no one's ever talked to you about those things, you might not even know that you need it. Mm-hmm. And then you stretch yourself by trying something new, like a play party or something. You might have new needs that you didn't know because you never maxed yourself out in those ways. Mm-hmm. So there's the right after having, maybe your first threesome or gangbang or whatever, and what do you need? And you don't necessarily know what you need because you've never did that thing before. Mm-hmm. And then there's the, what do you need on the drive home? What do you need the next morning?
Yeah. For me, it's the day after. Week? It's the second day after. I usually wake up and I'm like, for me, a lot of I have an abuse history, so I have a lot of feelings come up, and I'm a bigger person, so I have some body image issues, and I go to a play party, I will feel a lot of feelings, and it's really powerful for me to do it. It's like, it's been really healing and affirming to me to see people having consensual pleasure, to have consensual pleasure and give it, and just, it's very affirming for me. And it brings up a lot of emotions, so I can feel, it's usually it's the second day after, I'm just like, I'll wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I just feel like I went through like deep therapy or something. My brain, I feel tired, I feel repressed. And until I learned con drop, you have a great article on it. Mm-hmm. I'll put the link below.
It's a phrase for after you've been to a conference, like the hangover, the conference hangover, the con drop, mm-hmm. after going to an event.
Yeah. So I'll put the link below if you want to read it, because I think it applies mm-hmm. to this, and it's very helpful. I love the way you describe it. But until I realized what was happening, it was like probably the fourth or fifth time it happened. Even though I knew about con drop, it would be a couple days later. I'm like, oh, that was con drop. And now it's like, oh, life is so bad. Oh wait, it's con drop.
You remember faster that the thing is happening.
And then I've also learned to plan in things I need. Mm-hmm. So like that second day, I might schedule a massage in the evening, or I might like ask a friend to go to lunch with me, because just talking about it helps me. Mm-hmm. So learning what you or your partner needs through that can be really useful, and just trying different things. So, and you have some great suggestions in that article. So.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be different from person to person, maybe from time to time. Then there's other interesting things that happen where, with play parties, maybe you played with somebody that you have a crush on, mm-hmm. and you've never had a crush on somebody before. So now your aftercare is this whole other thing, because you are just hooked on somebody,
cocaine,
and your partner is like, what the fuck is happening? And again, you might need to process everything verbally. You might need distance. You might need this or that. Like, so building into your relationships and building into your own self-awareness. I just did this thing. What do I need? What do I know I've needed in the past in other related situations, or in other, big things I've ever tried that helped me integrate, ground, come back to reality, become a productive member of society? And are any of those things useful the day after I had my first orgy? Yeah. We don't know yet. But the article will have a bunch of different examples, and, brainstorm with your friends, brainstorm with other people at the play party, ask them about, like, what are your aftercare needs? Like, have those conversations while you're, mingling. It's a great way to connect with people too, and try to share and swap resources for aftercare.
Yeah, and one of the things I found is a great way to meet people. So, like, after an event's over, whether I'm running it or I go to it, I love going for breakfast at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or midnight or whatever it is. And I've found that if I've had some people I enjoy talking with, I can just go, hey, one of my aftercare needs after an event is I'd love to go get breakfast. Do you like to get breakfast? And sometimes people are no, but some people are like, I love breakfast. Or I could really use a cup of coffee. Yeah. And then I start building deeper relationships. Because
they need those decompression chambers before they go home and relieve the babysitter.
Yeah.
Or before they go home to their cat. Or go home to their partner who didn't go to the play party. Or their crappy roommate. Like, whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah, just pay attention to what you need and then ask for it. And be okay if people say no, but the more you ask, the more likely you already get an answer that you like.
Cool.
Hope this helps. Thanks very much, Reed.
You're welcome. Go for it.